Do we want to
do an intro?
Oh.
Because we could.
We could do an intro.
Yeah, we should do an intro.
Yeah.
Hey. We're
Hi.
back.
This is Accuracy Third. We're here. We're back. We went to Burning Man. This is the Afterburn episode. We do these sometimes.
We have taken showers and eaten food not out of cans. And, like, slept in beds and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, my own bed.
Reconnecting with loved ones. Can you believe it?
I, took 2 showers a day, every day this week.
Well, that's a bit much.
I have been wasting water. Yeah, it's really nice.
I stayed overnight in the pepper mill coming back. Took, like, a real long forever shower. Went to bed, got up, took a steam bath and a sauna and a shower and then a bath. But before I could take that bath, I had to clean all the, stuff out of the bathtub. It wasn't even playa dust. It was like all of my small scabs had washed off and turned into a scab in the bathtub.
Charming. Oh, I was so sunburned. When I left Playa to go stay in Reno to teach my first class, I was so fucking sunburned.
Oh, yeah?
And I just sat in the shower and watched YouTube videos until I set off the fucking smoke alarm in my hotel room.
That sucks.
Yeah, well, I got it to stop. It was all fine.
Oh, good. So just a local thing, not a thing that triggers any action whatsoever.
No. Why would anyone respond to a fire alarm in a hotel?
Good question.
Yeah. Well, we're back. We made it. We survived. It was a great year, right?
I agree.
Everyone
Thrilling.
Flawless.
Incredibly fun.
So fucking fun.
Non-stop.
Yeah, it was a goddamn delight this year.
Perfect weather. Start to finish.
Lots of learning and growing as human beings.
Oh, and
New friends.
New friends.
New friends from all over the world.
And genuinely good art. Like some really fucking kick-ass art this year.
Agreed. Good to see you, Beth. I haven't seen you in a while. What's new?
Oh, man. It's weird, spending 3 weeks solid together and then, leaving and not seeing each other for a week. And I know we normally go, a week with not seeing each other, but it seems so abrupt from getting to see you guys both every day to, not seeing you for a while.
Leaving without even saying goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's the only way.
Like a thief in the first thing in the morning.
Yeah, that's the thing. Leaving is so hard. I can't start the circle of goodbyes. It's just going to take too long and my feels are going to get all up. And then I'm also, this year I was just telling Rex that by the time I left, I hadn't had a shower in 5 days. I was also
easily.
So fucking gross. I was just so gross. I was so gross. I didn't want anyone to perceive me.
When I left, I couldn't really fall asleep that night. I slept 3 or 4 hours. Woke up at 5:30 in the morning, managed to pack up just the last few things I needed to put on my truck, my tent and my mattress and a bag of stuff. And I go for my preliminary porta potty before getting to go to the bathroom in a real rigid bathroom at some point in the next couple hours. And as I get back to my truck, I just see our new friend Bangmaster trudging on his trip to the porta potties, and we both just nod at each other. Yeah. And I get in the cab of my truck and I drive off and there's no wait. And I just get on the road and drive the whole way home.
Yeah, I had, I had 2 kind of homeward things that happened. One was I got to give a new campmate a ride in. And usually I like to sit in silence and listen to a podcast or, cry or listen to my music or whatever. But I instead drove a first-time burner back to the Bay Area, and this person was so incredibly awesome to chat with about the whole thing. It was it was a wonderful decompression of sorting out ideas and talking about what it means, and it was really lovely. And the other thing that happened was, so I managed not to hurt myself on Playa this year. I was really impressed. I didn't have to go to Rampart. I wasn't limping at any point in time. It was a miracle. And then I stopped to get gas on the way out. And it was at that gas station that's right before you get on 80 going back into Reno, the bigger one. And they have those long squeegees, those squeegees that are for getting up big truck cabs, taller than me squeegee. And I was going to squeegee the dust off the windows. And I stepped forward, tripped over a curb in such a way that I slammed the squeegee down. And then my neck into the squeegee, where I immediately choked myself and lost all balance because my foot that was trying to recover from the trip ran into the squeegee handle that was now pressing on the ground. So I just like fell into the air. Like it wasn't like a trip, stumble, fall. It was like I was all the way up in the air and like hit the ground.
Oh my God.
So, and like it is, you haven't seen yet, but it's bruises, knee, hip, elbow, arm, and this knee managed to get some like road rash in it. And this sweet person comes running across the parking lot being like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I was like, did it look cool? I was also like, is my neck bleeding? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, cool. Then we're all good.
Oh man, you absolutely did a pratfall.
It was like the only thing that saved me was I was so happy and relaxed to finally be getting off playa that I just gave in to the fall.
That squeegee was your Sideshow Bob's rake.
Sounds intense.
It was
for a rest stop.
It was great. It was funny to realize in that moment that I had managed to be 3 weeks out there without hurting myself.
Well, nothing puts a punctuation on how good your safety rating was until you've broken it. Speaking of interrupting our flow, do we want to start our Afterburn episode talking about art and then let the conversation flow from one reminisce to another about this past year's burn?
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I really want to talk about the art because this year was really good and funny and interesting. It was a pretty great year for art for me.
A bunch of different arts that I've never seen before and never thought of making art in those particular shapes.
Tree Circle was pretty fucking cool.
Tree Circle was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like Tree Circle a lot. I was a little inebriated when we got to Tree Circle and was a little bit flummoxed about sitting in them. But sitting had become a foreign concept for a slight period of time.
Mm-hmm.
I figured it out, despite my large backpack.
Can you send me the URL for whatever page you're on? And I'll share it in the show notes so our listeners can scroll through and look at the different pictures of some of the arts we're describing.
Sure, it's burningman.org/event/2004 art installations.
Perfect. Thanks, Rex.
Or 2024 -art -installations.
Well, I'll just pop that in the show notes.
Yeah.
Also, I would like to point out a lot of shapes.
Oh.
A lot of shapes of art.
There's shapes is starting to get right up there with lights on sticks as being a type of art out there.
Yep.
But you know what there wasn't?
What?
A bunch of shitty, shiny humans. Like tall sculptures.
Oh, yeah.
This was a year with only like 1 3/8 human.
Yeah, there was headless, weird arms circle.
Which I would say is definitely a different genre than just giant naked lady.
Yeah, that was a human shaped swarm of butterflies.
Yeah,
that's a very
that was a human shape. You don't often get a human shape. You usually just get a human or a shape.
Really, the only like big shiny person was Liberty, and
I struggle with the concept of this art.
Yeah, there are some things about that art, but you know, it was easy to walk away from.
It was a great year for like stuff I'd never seen before, and like just to sort of get it out of the way, fucking Naga and the Captain was just incredible. It was
unbelievable.
I'd gotten the opportunity to hear the artist sort of speak about it at Burning Man HQ, and I was just what I was picturing was so fucking dumb and ugly compared to what it was. I so fell in love with that sea dragon. It's so fucking cute.
Blowing bubbles
with its color changing scales and its little light up pointy things. I genuinely felt like this deep affection for it. It was so fucking cute. And the ship was amazing and detailed, and like the angles on it made you feel like out of sorts and drunk. And it was just such a beautiful big piece. So I really like that. I think if you don't like that, you're wrong, personally.
Completely.
Yeah.
Unforgivably wrong.
I don't not like that, but I did miss it.
Oh.
It's fine.
No.
I saw a lot of art. You can't see all the art, and you especially can't travel toward the incredibly bright flashing white light at night. I had to stay away from that entire quadrant over and over again. Such bright, white, intermittent light. Horrendous.
I got a lot of downvotes on the Burning Man subreddit for someone was like, do you know what the name of it was? And I was like, retinal pain? It was like, it's so cool, the math. And I'm like, the math is one equation. What do you mean? Oh, but they're not wired together. And it's like, okay, so like the
whoop-de-whoop.
I'm sorry.
You timed it.
You timed it. You put it on a timer. Good job. But, and you did an equation.
It is some effort.
It is.
But for what?
For the light of 3 trillion suns to just strobe randomly so fucking on your eye level.
Marine buoy lights.
Yeah. I think could have, like, I do agree that it made a pretty effect from the distance, but it just destroyed that part of Playa.
I didn't find it as distressing as the two of you did until I walked up close to it and saw that the warning that says do not look at the light was right by the light.
Apparently a lot of art cars were also having trouble navigating around it because it didn't have any lights on it other than the strobe, so it would come and then disappear because it's just a black stick on a white box.
Terrifying.
Yeah, but
0 out of 10 stars. Hands down.
I feel like I don't know anything's official name this year, but I really loved that vibrating shape thing.
The Lingam Lotus?
Someone said its name and it had a great name, but I totally forgot it. The vibrating shape thing.
Hortus Lux is the name of that the Lotus with
the Get You Off Lotus?
Yeah, with the integrated base.
Well, good for them.
Do you want to come with your friends, Lotus?
Yeah, it certainly excited my lingam.
Did you figure out what the susurrus was called?
I did at one point, and I suppose I'll look it up again.
So the susurrus was those pieces, that big piece to the 9 o'clock side near the temple that had all of those colorful ripstock pieces of fabric coming off of it that just moved in the wind. And like it was like held up by a bunch of aircraft cable and like some big telephone poles looking thing. Mm-hmm. And the whole thing could like rise or fall like almost like 20 feet.
Like a magic carpet.
It was so pretty and it looked gorgeous at night. It was just surreal looking at night. It was so pretty from a distance. And when you got up close to it, it made this tremendous sound. And like just the looking at the patterns that are in the fabric, it was just so pretty up close and provided this like gorgeous shade to be in. I really liked that one. I found that one really moving. I mean, granted, we were on the way to the temple, so I was, ready to cry, but it did make me cry. It was just so
it
gorgeous.
Is like nothing I've ever seen out there before.
Yeah, that too. It was like totally new to me.
Yep.
And so pretty.
And if there's someone else who has done art like that before, kudos to you as well. I am very excited to see what different kinds of art might have been inspired from that piece this year.
It was like what's the Christo? It was like a Christo piece, but good.
I was just like, but Christo's so boring. Look, I wrapped this building. Doesn't that make you think of buildings?
Yes.
Yep.
Like most silhouettes, a silhouette of something makes me think of the thing that it is a silhouette for.
There, you have been arted at. You have experienced art.
No. You have been arted.
Oh, wait, there it is.
For skygazing.
Skygazing.
From Colorado Springs. Poetic Kinetic Studio. Patrick Sharon?
Good job, guys. Thank you for the art.
That was so cool. I really loved everything about that. I found it like moving.
Yeah.
Just really got me right in the heart.
I also found the temple very moving, which is like a very trite thing to say, except what I mean is that like from a distance, the architecture of it impacted me in a way that no other temple has. Like that, there have been lots of very beautiful temples, but they always seem to carry that like temple-y vibe, that like the weight of what it is. This thing was just like a fairy palace. It was so gorgeous. And maybe I'm just betraying my love of deco.
It was gorgeous and very, very well architected. It reminded me of like a Jack Kirby drawing of Asgard from like Thor in the 1960s.
It did feel like high fantasy.
Yeah.
It had a gate made of hands, and that's pretty high fantasy.
That's true. And we saw the hands, and we saw one of the hands fall while the temple was burning. And then we didn't see the temple at all after that.
Oh my God, our way back from the temple. Oh my fucking God.
Beth, why was the way back from the temple in any way exciting?
So this has been, I lost some folks this year, so it felt really important to go out and watch the temple burn. And we went out with our work vehicles, and we're smart enough to get them turned around so we're not paying. So, like, when we're getting there early enough, turn them around so you're facing away from the temple. But I know it's going to be quite a while after the temple falls that we're able to move, and that's perfectly fine. That's what you're signing up for. So the big ass whiteout happened during the temple burn, so much so that like you couldn't see the red glow of the entire temple on fire. There was so much dust between us and the temple. And
we were like maybe 100 feet.
Yeah, we were
200 feet away from it.
We were
close.
Not too far away, and like standing on the tail bed of my car so that we could get up over the crowd and see a little bit. And it was just like gone. And then it reappeared and the hands were on fire. That was really cool. But it was like super, super whiteout conditions. And like we get in the car, and we wait until it seems clear enough that maybe we can start moving. And we start moving, and it's such a whiteout that we just need to stop. That's what you do. If you ever, for whatever reason, are driving out there, you should, if you can't see anything, just stop moving and wait until you can actually tell where your vision is at.
Unless you don't have any lights on you and you're a pedestrian, in which case, lie down, prone or supine, next to the biggest sand dune you can find. And just try to become one with the playa.
Face down.
It's just D-Day and I in this car, and like DJ Slurm and Eyesore behind us, and they're following me. And I'm just driving and seeing nothing and stopping and seeing nothing and driving and seeing nothing and stopping and seeing nothing. And then I get a radio call being like, hey, how's the procession from the temple back to center camp going? And I just laughed. I was like, I don't. It's funny that you think that's happening. I can't see 4 feet in front of me. And we finally hit the city. And I thought we were going to be at like...
I thought we were heading toward like 5:30.
I thought I was going to be at 5:30, maybe like 6, maybe like 6:30, but we were at 8:30 when we finally found the city. And then I was like, okay, well, at least we have the city. Now we can drive in a couple of blocks and follow a road home. And that led to me turning into someone's camp because they're all getting emptied out, and I couldn't tell that there wasn't a road there.
When the cars leave and the street signs are stolen.
But I was like,
how do you find the road?
I was like talking to D-Day. I'm like, which way do we even turn here? I don't know which way to turn to get home. And he was like, I don't know either. And so we had to stop and ask DJ Slurm to lead us because he had one of those GPS like outlines of the map.
And bully for him.
Bully for him. Thank you, DJ Slurm.
DJ Slurm.
There was just something so beautiful and gratifying about getting lost in that moment. Like it was such a, like we went to go do a thing that seemed like it should be easy, and all week and all setup, everything had been so easy to get so incredibly lost, and for it to take us so incredibly long to get home. And it was great. It was funny. It was fun. It felt magical.
Yeah, it felt like, you know, when you're 17 or 18 and you've just started like driving around with your friends. And you get into some hijinks because there's nothing to really do but drive around like on a school night and hang out for half an hour or whatever. Felt like that, except it was like an hour and a half and quite dangerous. But you're a pretty good disaster companion.
I would say also, we don't need to like get into it, but like it sounded like it was a really fucking rough year at the temple with people being shitty to Palestinians.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it out loud because that really sucks. And our temple guardians work really hard, and it's really fucking awful to go in and harass people who are mourning just because you don't like where they're from.
Yeah, it's indicative of
It's fucking disgusting.
the dehumanizing way that we talk about Palestinians in general and Muslim and Arab populations in specific in media in this country. And it's just bigotry. It sucks. It made me really sad.
It was a year, though, that my appreciation for the Temple Guardians really grew. I've always appreciated them. That's definitely one of those playa volunteer positions where I'm like, I am entirely the wrong person for this, but I'm really grateful that there are the right people for this, because to hold that space in the face of that is so incredibly hard. And how important it is that they're there holding that space for everyone. Yeah. Oh my God, and how much of a big emotional hit they get from people being fucking jackasses in the temple.
Couldn't tell you, Beth. I bet it's stressful.
Yeah.
I bet it's a lot.
And they're just, of course, they're the fucking sweetest people on earth. Like, just really wonderful folks.
Yep.
We can talk about the piece I didn't like the most.
Oh, Beth, we were absolutely going to talk about Together for Never.
Together for Never.
Spite art is my new least favorite kind of art.
I mean, if it was good, I could get behind some spite art.
I don't know if you can make spite art quite in the way that you can make like tiny home spite construction.
This piece, if you didn't know the name of and you saw much of the art on Playa, you probably know what we're already talking about, which is it's the hands with the rings in between them that are all broken apart with the rings suspended.
Because marriage is a twap.
Did you see my sculpture, Marcia? I dedicated it to us. Not you, us.
And that's why it makes sense that it's two left hands. Are they left or are they right?
Those are right hands.
Those are two right hands.
I was quite angered by, God, and like if somebody had presented a sketch of that in one of my high school art classes, that criticism session would have been especially harsh, I believe.
You know what's weird about it being two right hands, though, is you wear your wedding ring on your left hand.
Yeah, but you throw your wedding ring at your partner with your right hand.
Your right hand?
Your dominant hand, as it were.
Wait. Read the artist thing, because this is just right where it gets you.
Together for Never invites reflection on the impermanence of relationships. It provides a space to let go, acknowledging the pain that often accompanies the ending of relationships.
This person is terrible in therapy.
Memories linger, but like the piece itself, participants are encouraged to release. Ultimately, it conveys the joy in moving forward.
No, it doesn't. It is so bitter. It's so sad and trapped. It's so literally bound still by aircraft cables to the other fucking hand.
Yeah, maybe you two should have been better at fucking other people. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm
sorry about you and your relationship.
You don't deserve to be made fun of in your relationship.
It's like anti-Hallmark art, but it's as trite as Hallmark art, just like in the pissiest, like most new metal way possible.
So, art criticism is subjective, but linguistic criticism is an art. And I'd like to point out the following sentence. Memories linger, but like the piece itself, participants are encouraged to release.
Is there any punctuation in that?
Yes. Memories linger, comma, but like the art itself, comma, participants are encouraged to release. So the like is telling us that the art is encouraged to release. Yes?
I mean, I love and hate the artist statement so much. They give me so much insight. And yet I don't want to read the ones from the pieces that I like.
It's interesting either what the artist thought they were doing or how the artist wanted to portray the thing that they were doing. God knows, I write artist statements out of necessity, not because I have words to explain, like the piece of art that I made.
Do you know what had an incredible artist statement on the piece?
These fucking hands.
I'm fine.
Please explain what I'm fine is, Beth.
I'm fine was out in deep playa. It was really tall. What do you think, about 20 feet?
Yeah, maybe 20 feet.
Made out of street signs that have been shot up and destroyed in Ukraine.
Spelling out the words, I'm fine.
I'm fine.
My God.
And if you go up and read it, I can't do it any justice, but it is about making the choice to be okay. And then they also point out that the air sirens that they have there are linked to the air sirens in Kiev, which means that if those go off, note that the air sirens are going off in Kiev. Yeah, it like shook me. It's a really, really good piece. It's beautiful. It's haunting, and I'm really glad it was there.
But isn't Ukraine the greatest enemy that America has at the moment? I've been watching a lot of conservative media.
Don't Tim Pool at anyone.
I am not Tim Pooling, Beth. I am truth telling. These are live truths in the studio right now.
Don't discourage him. We could use some of that Russian money.
I just like
if you have $400,000 to $500,000 that you would like to give us a month for us to do a podcast a week for you, please get in touch.
We'll make it about
registered
whatever.
Foreign agent. You can give me your Kremlin money. Thanks, D-Day.
Hey, RT. We all hate the government.
Hey, that's it. It's just we're posting at you.
Give me some money. Please, not in rubles.
I'm trying to think about the other art. There were so many good shapes to climb on. Oh, do you remember Fail Wheel? The wooden hamster wheel.
God. Yeah, we walked right through Fail Wheel. Oh my God.
I love
Buddy.
Fail Wheel. It was like a wooden hamster wheel, like the kind that people could be in. It was like quite large. It wasn't like your sized. It was like maybe twice human size, like maybe 12, 14 feet tall. And like when we got there Wednesday night, you couldn't tell that it was supposed to be a wheel because it was so in the middle.
Sagdady.
It had broke.
It had broken. It was
broke.
made of wooden joints, and it just like someone did not
Like wooden joints and plywood with like just screws holding like butt joints together and stuff like that. Like it was never going to be structurally sound. But there were some very cute like interconnected cuts to like pretend that the plywood side circles of this hamster wheel were going to hold together. It was tragic and pretty dangerous looking.
I liked it. It felt good to me.
It felt honest.
It felt honest. It felt true.
It looked like it would have held if it had gotten into its shape successfully initially, but I don't think it did. I don't think it ever came together, and I think in trying to put it together, it just broke more.
But kudos for a successful effort making some memorable stuff on Playa.
Yeah, Fail Wheel. I believe in you. Good try. Safe place to fail.
I'm unable to find what our broken hamster wheel was supposed to be.
Doesn't matter because a better shape than broken hamster wheel was Ramp. Ramp was pretty good.
Ramp was really solid.
Yep.
It was a great ramp game this year.
Yeah. Like I'm going to say that Ramp was like 7 out of 10. Good ramp.
Good ramp, solid ramp.
Twisty ramp.
Made out of 2x4s, but with spaces in between them, with the rainbow LEDs are along the side, and a thing in the middle that I'm
like
sure was about intentions or
something.
Koi fish or...
Seemed like the sort of rectangular cube that you would place a sculpture on at the apex of 2 ramps.
Yeah, it was a solid ramp. I really liked that ramp.
Like as many pieces of 2x4 put into that ramp as possible. Really kind of like walking over a bridge in the woods.
Yeah, I dug the ramp. Ramp was solid.
I think I found it.
Found what?
The Socotron 4200?
That's not ramp.
No, that's the broken hamster wheel. I think it was going to be a dryer.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
Good try. I would like to see a dryer.
Wait, read the artist statement. Read the artist statement. Tell us about this dryer's intent.
We have all pondered what it would be like inside of a dryer at some point in our life. Why is it that many washers' dryers have windows built into them? It's something that we as a species have been unexplainably fascinated with. Perhaps there is something to gathering around and watching a tumbling dryer that pulls on our primal instincts in the same way that a campfire would. Maybe there is something more to this seemingly mundane machine. Did you know that there has been documentation recently uncovered depicting what could be dryers with windows in ancient societies? Where did they come from? Was it an invention ahead of its time, or was it a gift from the gods?
All right, that's cute. Good
Not bad.
cuting.
Yeah.
Good intent. It's not trying to solve sexual harassment.
Much better than two hands, no rings. Mm-hmm. What I did really love was the Jackalope razor blade.
Oh, I was just thinking about that.
I love that Jackelope. It's so fucking cute.
It was gorgeous and dangerous.
And pretty.
Really pretty.
And so cute.
Good shapes.
I
Really good
loved
shapes.
the saddle. I loved the lighting that went on underneath it. It looked so soft and it was so sharp.
The eyes were beautiful.
Yeah.
It's called Tall Tales.
Aw.
And look at the initial sketch.
Super cute.
That gives you no hint of the hellish monstrosity that it actually became. What a beautiful thing.
And this is just so dumb, but in the middle of our late night deep plyout hike, we found the lights on sticks. Like lights on sticks that are so beautifully lights on sticks that I feel like I finally understand the entire genre of lights on sticks.
You mean the lanterns hanging from the 4x4s that were beautifully like wood burnt?
No, I mean the ones that had all of the thread around it and lights going through.
Oh,
these,
yeah,
pieces of
yeah.
stick that were like programmed so that they were sort of like. It was just like, I can't believe someone made lights on sticks so fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Lights
great.
on, in, and through sticks.
Sticks, yeah.
Much more interesting than just light
Lights
on a pole.
light on a pole.
Yep.
Oh,
Whole new category of light on a pole, though. The utility poles outside of Utility Village.
oh, yeah.
The ones that were Renegade art from last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved those.
More municipal infrastructure on the lake bed, please.
I love that audio thing. I don't know what the audio thing's name is. We've run into it a couple of times.
The Otic Oasis?
The Otic Oasis. I fucking could live there. It spooked my friends too much. It gets a little loud.
It's a little
Cats.
intense.
Yeah, but I love that.
I don't care.
Oh, no, you know what? I was wrong about that sound installation. Otic Oasis is something else. That thing is called Unpopular Music.
Fuck yeah. What does it say about it?
Unpop, or Unpopular Music, is an intimate listening environment in deepest playa. It features exquisite, detailed soundworks, including field recordings, abstract electroacoustic music, ambient textures, and other mostly non-beat-oriented sonic experiences, composed by many artists from around the world. Encompassing a circular space, the piece is built around 8 custom-built hemisphere loudspeakers, which enclose a listening area complete with comfortable seating.
I love the detail of how sound moves around in that space. Like, I find it so entrancing. I really fucking love it. And I love calling it unpopular music. Good job. The part that we listened to went from like fucking robot sex death rays to like a band like doing a sound check. And it went from like this almost overwhelming, like almost too loud to this very detailed, like tinkly thing. That's the kind of piece that like it changes around you and you like lose your balance because of your inner ear and the sound. It's so cool. I really like that piece. I wish I should, if I find it again, I should try and go there long enough to hang out for a half hour or so.
Agreed. We should have put that on our
to go back to
on our rotation. Yeah,
Yeah.
Same with the Hortus Lux. Those are pieces better enjoyed with small groups and not big adventuring parties.
Totally. Oh, Cone.
Cody McConeface.
Cody? Yeah.
So cool.
That was so great. I really loved that they were doing the worships at it. I never got to attend one, but I got to hear about them. And we got caught on our bikes. We're headed out to see some other art, and we got in the gate line going for the burn of the Coney McConeface. They were all fucking tooling out together in their gate mobiles to watch it burn, and it was such a beautiful burn. It was like so pretty. And on the way back, Rex was like, so the all of the gate people are like going back together. And Rex was like, we love you, greeters. And this guy like pointed a spotlight on him and was like, I will stop this car. Like,
And did he?
No.
Well,
you know,
talk, Gate.
Gate's not a lot of follow through.
Ooh, shots fired.
I met someone offering to take me on a Gate life support shift, so I know what they're like.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I would like to hear about that.
Doing some non-fluffing. That Fartin Fire Piece was
Oh,
all
that
glimmer.
Fartin Fire Piece was amazing.
Glimmer. Does it say anything about farting?
No, I think that was entirely intentional.
Oh my God.
It
This
distracted me every time I tried to bike back into 6 o'clock.
somehow got funnier every time. Like I would just forget about it, and it sounded more like a fart. Like at first, it was just like, but by the last time, it was just like, and for like 20 seconds for such a long time with this huge flame of fire. That was a great laugh. Good job, Glimmer.
Oh, and Helios was cool.
Was
was
Helios
Helios?
was the suspended light things that you could wooden paddle and they moved and they had LEDs in them. We played with them.
Did we?
Yeah, if you look at the picture, you'll recognize it.
Oh, yeah. Delightful.
Yeah, I definitely have memories that took place at that setting.
That might have been when it was hard to process memories for me.
That was. Oh,
How much is life? Oh, upright sticks are just upright sticks.
Is it called Upright Stick?
No.
It's called How Much is Life?
That's too bad.
it's from Kiev.
No.
Well, let's talk about something else.
Yeah, that's sad instead of funny.
That really densely information-packed piece we saw, Beth, was called Live Dangerously Carefully.
Oh.
What's that?
It was like a pile of stuff. It was a pile of stuff with a lot of ideas on it.
That's a
it
good
work?
description. It worked quite well.
Yeah, like it worked in that we spent probably like 6-8 full minutes going through all of it and looking at it because the detail was great. Every time you found a detail, it just was like, oh, cute. Okay, I'll keep poking around at this thing because it is so intentional.
And it was a shape in a pile of stuff.
It was a pile of stuff. There was like books and there's like a captain's wheel. It kind of looked like it should have been with the captain and Naga, like it was of that period of stuff.
Uh-huh.
But
Maybe a castaway.
Yeah, it looks like it could be like the outside perimeter of the wreck.
did any of you guys see anyone ski down the ski slopes around Center Camp?
I saw a couple of sledders, but I didn't ever catch anybody skiing.
I've heard tell that people actually did it, but I'm disappointed I never got to see it.
I can no longer ski, and I will not spend my time watching others ski.
At Burning Man, yes, absolutely, 100%.
I went and touched the thing. I'm kind of disappointed I didn't go down it, but the couple of times I was by it, there was
No, don't go fake skiing at Burning Man.
I was going to go fake sledding.
Okay, just your knees. Remember your knees. I'm very attached to them.
Thank you to our patrons on Patreon who get to hear Beth's opinion of Rex's knees. Would you guys like to talk about the guy in the shed? I was quite extremely out of sorts when I met the guy in the shed. We had pretty much just parked our bikes and seen like a handful of pieces of art while wandering away from the temple where we parked our bikes so we could retrieve them later. And we've seen some unassuming light up shapes. And then there's some pretty compelling looking dark art in front of us. Like
That is really the aim, if you can see. Where to find stuff that's unlit is kind of a secret goal of our deep playa.
it's playa astronomy almost. Like you're trying to find the places where the twinkle of lights does not exist. And I see this shadow off in the middle distance and go running over to it, and there's like a keep out sign half tacked to a door. It's closed. I didn't try the doorknob at first. First, I moved around the structure to see if it was legitimately art, and it did seem to be an interesting little structure.
Like, it is something that you might enter in Playa and find out what's inside.
Once I circumnavigated the object once, I did open the door and start to enter the structure when someone who was sleeping in the dark inside said, "What's going on?" And as I slammed the door, I said, "I don't know, man. You tell me." And then we left that place and saw some more pieces of art and somehow found our way back there, like within 45 or 50 minutes.
Totally hours later that we got back there, because we went back there on our way back to the bikes.
That was the third time we went past that place. I believe. What is time or experience, really, when you were looking at art at Burning Man? But the point is, we didn't enter that person's domicile again, but we did at least twice. Circle around it and laugh about it a bunch and shout about it.
Definitely shouted about it a bunch.
Really enjoyed knowing that someone was taking umbrage at having their private space breached living in Outer Playa at Burning Man.
Yeah, I don't understand how that can be anything but art.
Weren't they like by a generator?
Lots of art is by a generator.
Still on a tow, though. Like it was towed out there.
Yeah, it was like not quite finished art.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe at some point it became art. Who knows? When I saw it, it was potentially visual art and definitely performance art. It worked on a couple levels.
Oh my God, the grapes.
What about the grapes? I remember the grapes.
Veraison.
What were the grapes?
Were they just grapes on the ground?
They were big. I don't remember what they were made of.
They were maybe wicker.
Oh.
Or like rattan. Yeah, they were frames of grapes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, barrel bands.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Them being barrel bands makes it make a bit more sense.
Yep. Absolutely. Quite on theme in terms of grapes, not in terms of curiouser and curiouser. It is a type of art that you see a lot at Burning Man, which is just a representation of a thing, but big for Playa.
But this year was great for it. I liked Banana for Scale, and I liked Coney McCone Face. I love the sort of art that is just like, I am going to be big and unserious. I'm going to be hard to do and to be about funny. That really gets to me. I love that shit.
I think giant grapes are for you to pose in front of for your wine blog. That's what they have on TikTok, right? You
wine blogs?
Well, I mean, any sort of blog. You know, they've got those dance blogs on TikTok.
And of course, the Peckening.
Well, the Peckening.
I think we were all building towards the Peckening.
The Peckening, which is
Renegade art.
Renegade art, and one of my absolute favorite pieces of all time. It delighted me to the very tips of my toes. It's so fucking perfect.
Oh, yeah. It's the most no-climb, chicky-breaky piece of art I've ever seen on Playa.
No climb, chicky breaky. If you guys missed it, the Peckening was, 14 foot tall?
Something like that.
Something like that.
Paper mache rubber.
That was paper mache?
Yeah.
Covered in rubber? What is going
No, it was paper mache. Just
Really?
Yeah.
It was with like
Wild.
thick paint and shit on it.
Huh.
Like paper mache rubber chicken with these big, bright blue glaring lights at night.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like just held down by some ratchet straps. And at the end of each ratchet strap, there's a wood burned sign that said there were no climby, no breaky cheeky,
Mm-hmm.
no
Squawk.
just no climby, only squawk.
Mm-hmm.
And if you
Art no for climb. Squawk only.
Squawk only. Art no. That's the one.
And there were just loose ratchet straps hanging from it.
And if you stood in front of it, there was a box that you could step on that would just make a sound, but it also dropped like 4 inches, so it was just an ankle breaker too. It was like definitely also dangerous on top of being fucking adorable.
Loved it.
I loved it. And we got to find out that it's actually not only renegade art, but response art to the big light up skull that is across the way from it. The Awakening. The Reckoning. The artists are apparently friends, and the Peckening. I fell so in love with it, and then I found out that it was like 8 times more clever than I thought it was by talking to the artists. But it's in response to the Reckoning, which is this like very serious, sort of beautiful, like kind of death focused piece to staring it down on the other side of Playa, the Peckening. It made me so incredibly happy. And it's so cool to get to run into the people who make stuff out there.
Absolutely.
I think while we're talking about like art and Burning Man stuff, and as we segue into art stuff, can we talk about the fact that Center Camp actually worked?
Oh, Center Camp was great this year.
Yeah.
We're going to start off the season talking to several different guests who have worked on this year's Center Camp project.
It was really satisfying. And I had been like, it doesn't matter. I don't need it to be, I'm not focused on it being a success. I'm focused on the community. And like, damn, this year I have the distinct pleasure for the first time of working on a cool project.
It looked gorgeous this year. It was
full of people
who were excited to interact with all the cool new things. It very much felt like a central space for a big, crazy event where you could touch a whole bunch of different aspects of the event by just being in 1 acre of land.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And placement did such a good job with the camps that were in Center Camp.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was stuff happening all around that ring all the time.
It was like a little neighborhood. I loved it.
Yeah, it was so good. It was the first year I've ever been in there more than twice after we're done like working on it, because it was always worth stopping by on the way back to camp, you know, because maybe we grab a drink, or maybe we could get some tea, or maybe we could just see what the live painters are up to, or listen to the music. I was really pleased. You know what? I didn't even go to any of the events. I just went through while it was happening. Like, it was great. I was meaning to go to the events. I was going to try, but I totally forgot because I was just enjoying stopping by anytime that I went by. Yay, success. Not everything needs to be success, but it's nice.
Yep, pleasing.
Yes, it's pleasing.
Speaking of success, do you guys have any playa wins this year that you think you were especially successful at winning at?
For me, this year was incredibly rewarding. Like, I've been doing the role that I'm doing now for 3 years, and this year, for whatever reason, it's been hard to feel some of the things that I've improved. But this year, I felt so like the energy that I've been putting into what I'm doing actually impacted our community and made it better. And that was so fucking cool. It was just so goddamn rewarding. And it made my heart really happy to get the chance to impact our community in really direct ways. And this year was fucking knocked it out of the park for me personally. I feel like happy to be me, grateful to get to be a part of this, and like that I have real agency to make something nicer for the people that I care about and the community that I'm a part of. And that's not something that you're handed all that frequently. So just blown away this year. I really felt all of that, and it renewed my faith in humanity, which is what I want Burning Man to do, and sometimes it just doesn't. But this year it really, really did.
Good job.
Yeah.
Rex?
I was really pleased to get back into rangering.
I am really proud of you for doing that. It's so cool.
So I went back and became a ranger again this year.
Congratulations.
After a decade off. More than a decade. My first ranger year was exactly 20 years ago. So I had to go through all of the ranger stuff, including what they call the alpha shift, where you go out with ranger mentors and they make sure you're capable of rangering and then give you a hat. And you get passed around between 3 different mentors over the course of a day. And one of my mentors, Ranger Dharma Bum, was really familiar to me. But, I've been around a bunch of rangers. I rangered for a while. It's everybody at Burning Man is pretty familiar to me.
It's wild. It's like
there are 40 types of person out there.
Yeah, totally. It's like I know you somehow, or someone very much like you.
Well, I was pretty confident it was somebody that I knew, but I was focusing on what I was doing, my alpha shift, and didn't do a, hey, where do I know you from? Because there was just not a moment for it. That guy was Stories.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That's
Corruption. Corruption in the ranks of the Rangers.
Fuck, I didn't put that together. Did you tell me that?
No, I don't think so, because I heard from him via email a day or two ago.
Hey, dude, weird.
And I had
snubbed me.
I had also sort of, it had just sort of clicked like maybe 12 hours before. Like, wait, is that who that was? Was that Stories? And yes, it was Stories. So good rangering Stories.
Yay. Stories. You should come back on. It's been years.
Agreed.
Come talk to us about Burning Man.
And I did a little rangering, and I will share my one rangering story because there's no violation of anybody's privacy. It involved just me and a lag bolt. I was
a mission from Resto.
It was, I think, Sunday or Monday at the beginning of the event. I was just out on a solo bike ride, getting the lay of the land, seeing how the city had popped up, and I saw some moop in the road in the middle of Esplanade out at 8:30ish. Stopped to pick it up, and it was a lag bolt sunk down to the hex with the little triangle corner from a tarp still attached to it. And I didn't have a fucking impact driver on me, so I could not exactly get that lag bolt right then. And I said, it's in the middle of the goddamn Esplanade. Somebody will get it. One of the camps setting up right here will see it and get it with proper tools.
With alacrity.
Right? Then I'm out on a early morning ranger shift Friday morning, walking the Esplanade, and there's that damn lag bolt still there week later. And it was not a very busy shift. I got that lag bolt out with my multi-tool and some help from my partner.
Well, thank you, Ranger.
Shout out to Rangers Zorak.
Yeah, thank you, Rangers, for your tireless dedication.
It was just kind of wild to me that like the entire city had gone up and there's this obvious lag bolt in the middle of the street and nobody had noticed it and pulled it out.
There's no driving on Esplanade, and I don't know how you would pay attention to anything on Esplanade anyway.
I hadn't thought about it until sort of this moment. But since I had the good fortune to get actual employed by Burning Man, I haven't been so much volunteering for Burning Man, in that my job includes the volunteer department I used to work for free in.
That's how they get you. That's how they got you. They got me and Beth a different way.
So it's nice that my role has space for me to spend some of my on-playa time volunteering, and it felt good. I feel like I'm excited to do some more of it next year. Yeah, it's nice.
It's really cool. What a generous way to give back to the community. But maybe that's just because I couldn't possibly ranger. I don't know how it is that you ranger. But good. I mean, I do know how it is that you ranger.
Yeah, you would do fine as a ranger.
I'd just be so bored.
Oh, it is an incredibly boring, honorable job until it is an otherwise honorable job that is not so boring.
Oh, bored or horrifying.
You would not be bored.
Yeah, you don't think so?
No, you would be busy getting to know somebody for 6 hours.
Yeah, you love talking to people while we're walking down the street.
But
talking to people and talking to people.
But what if I don't like them?
Job. You seem to keep talking to people.
You ask to switch.
That's part of the training.
Yeah.
They emphasize that.
Really?
You're not stuck with a partner. It's your volunteer shift. You should have a good time.
Yeah, I could see enjoying that part of it. If that person didn't suck, and all of my apologies to all of the Rangers, but some of y'all suck.
Beth, it's not like you're a renegade cop and like your chief is just like, Mahoney, you got to work with this guy now. And you're like, that fucking dweebus. And the chief's just like, or I'm taking your badge.
Of course the Rangers let you switch. I don't know why it wouldn't have occurred to me that.
Because you're coming up with reasons not to give back to the community in a way that you're proud of.
I am very proud of how I give back to the community.
Well,
I have used the Ranger training that I took to great effect in my role.
Yeah, you took from the Rangers. You could give back to the Rangers, Beth.
I do. I give back to them all the time. I give them back all of my problems so that they can solve them. I know when to call them. That's one of the things I learned in the Ranger training.
I would respond, but I'm trying to get beer out of this mini keg.
And D-Day, what was your big playa win? And don't lie, because I'll know.
I have a couple big playa wins. I'm very pleased that I got to give a playa name to our friend DJ Slurm, who up until this point hasn't had a playa name and was not very happy being given the playa name Slurm until we realized that he is, in fact, a disc jockey and thus is DJ Slurm.
DJ Slurm coming at you.
So that
Triumphs.
yeah, that's a
Emotional wins.
a real basic win, but a win nonetheless.
It's a good one.
I also believe that Plumpers 2024 was a win. Real pleased that we got like an entire morning of muck where I could don my construction bags and suspenders and really present myself around camp.
Oh my God, you should have seen this guy's shit-eating grin the second the water started falling. He's like, do you know what time it is? And like, we all know what time it is, D-Day.
I woke up in the middle of the night hearing that it was raining and was just like, hee 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 hee. I'm so glad I took out my suspenders before I went to bed. So loved that. Got some real good pictures of me and my plumpers. But I think my biggest win of Burn 2024 was my Crocs boots. There has never been a year previously that I've gone to Black Rock City for like 3 days, let alone 3 weeks, and haven't had feet that look like a nightmare dipped in battery acid for at least like 2 weeks of them. On our first walk of more than like 5 or 6 blocks, get blisters on my feet, but not in Crocs boots.
Yay!
Not a single blister. Get yourself on the parts of the interwebs where people sell things directly to other people, and you should be able to find yourself a pair of lightly used, if not pretty new, Crocs boots from a different country. And you too can have the best, most playa-free feet on the cushiest low-density foam soles.
I'm so happy for you.
I loved it. It was incredible. I realized it like the second to last day that I was on playa that my feet were not just garbage and painful and pusserating.
I'm glad you liked your Crocs.
My feet did great this year until after playa again is when they finally cracked open. Like
Probably because you fell on that curb.
no, it's like they were only even rarely passingly in playa ever. I keep them with moisturizers and socks and shoes, and yet still my feet crack open after playa.
I planned real good this year. I brought 2 pairs of shoes out that were sort of at the end of their life. I wore them out, and I threw them away.
Excellent.
Had brand new ones waiting for me at home.
Not bad. So we have talked a bunch this afterburn about our Burning Man experiences, a little bit about our wins. But we haven't really talked that much about our staff experience.
I didn't get staff.
Oof. No, but a lot of people got COVID.
A lot of people.
A lot of people got COVID. Pro tip, get yourself some COVID in June. Don't get any of the COVID from the people COVIDing all fucking over your kitchen for like an entire goddamn week and a half. So many people just hanging out with COVID. But I didn't get COVID because I just had COVID.
I was so pissed when I got COVID in June. And then I was so happy about getting COVID in August.
I didn't get COVID, and I didn't get COVID in June.
You might have gotten a low-level dose.
No, I got sick with something else. I tested every 2 days. It never popped up.
Well,
I did it for a week. Like, none of it was, if those tests are accurate.
Were they new tests?
And it didn't feel like COVID. Yeah, it was new tests. It didn't feel like COVID. It didn't have that weird body ache thing. It was just phlegm in my nose and a cough that was probably really exacerbated by, fucking playa lung.
Maybe it was pre-COVID.
Dancing for 3 hours in the dust. I forget how much dust raises up when you're dancing, no matter how calm it is. Like, D-Day and I went out dancing one night, which was fucking rad. I haven't danced for 3 hours since pre-COVID times.
Yeah,
it was just...
we got to go dancing again.
So good. It was just hard to find music that I like. It was really, really fun. And by the end of that, my throat just hurt. And then the next day I was like, maybe I have COVID, and tested and no, and then tested again and then no, and tested again and then no.
No, you just had playa-lung and tired.
And some kind of sick, because I gave Joe some kind of sick when I got home. But it's not COVID. It's just some like weird congestion. He doesn't even have a cough, which again, it might have just been playa-lung. But it's just like all of the snot in your nose. It's just
cold.
All of the snot. You know how you have to take your sunglasses off before you blow your nose?
No, still no. I've heard tell of this learning disability you have, but I was unaware that was an issue literally at all for anyone.
Just tons of snot.
Incredible. Yeah, but like such a broad attack pattern.
I don't know. It just blows back. You gotta like kind of catch it, and then it just blows back into your sunglasses and or face.
You don't have to catch it in anything but your armpit. You just tuck in and you leave a little stalactite forming.
Ugh. Ugh.
Dear patron.
Oh, that's disgusting, Beth. Not you macing up your glasses. Grotesque.
But you were asking us about our experiences?
Yes, our staff experiences.
What do you want?
I have a couple things. I had the opportunity to go to a place on Playa I had never visited before.
Oh, yeah.
With Beth and some of our staff friends. We went to a place called Hell Station.
Yeah. Rex was putting together these maps as a gift this year, and there was this area that I'm like, what is that? What is that over there? It's not the airport. I've never been there. And I was like, I want to go. And we found out that we had an excuse to go, which is to fill up propane tanks, because it's where staff and art cars and stuff get their fuel. It is terrifying. It is so cool. Like, we pulled up, we got there just as they were opening, so we sat with the people training on using the big, huge propane tanks
for like 40 minutes.
Yeah, and just watch them go through like the troubleshoot, the like what were the dangerous parts, and like the weight of how dangerous what they're doing really sinks the fuck in. It's like this
to watch most of them completely disregard those instructions immediately.
And it's just like they're like, well, I have to say that we recommend that you use gloves. I don't use gloves, but we recommend
like these
that
gloves
you
that are like not regular gloves but are insulated rubberized.
Because this will freeze your hand off. It'll burn you in a moment. Like, it can explode or freeze your skin until it dies.
So hit the button. Both of the buttons, shut it off.
Yeah. And like, they're talking about how art cars pull up and there are people smoking on like the second floor of the art cars. And there's just propane off-gassing all of the time.
Yeah. Part of filling up your tank is opening the valve so that the propane's just shooting out everywhere.
Yeah.
But when the liquid starts shooting out, like that's when it's about 80% full. So start shutting it down. And then when you shut it down, like you have to pull this safety out. But you have to put the safety back in before you start refilling the next can. Or when you start refilling the next can, all this propane will start spraying out. And like they filled up our cans and then immediately didn't close that thing. And I pointed it out. And they're just like, yeah, we'll get that later. And it's like... Like you just said, to make sure you do it at the end of the cycle. So that you don't like plug it in and get it shot all over your fucking leg.
One of the instructors' name was Bacon, and I ran into...
The other was Metroid.
Oh, yeah, good job remembering both of us.
Well, I mean, I remember Metroid anywhere.
But Bacon and I ran into each other in the commissary later, and I was like, hey, thanks for putting up with us and letting us watch. And he was like, you guys are great. You were actually fucking interested. And I was like, yeah, that's really fucking scary work.
It's a really weird, like, municipal outpost.
Yeah.
Way out past 9 o'clock with, like, flags and directions for how to enter to get different sorts of, like, combustible juice. 2 different colors of diesel. Why are there 2 different colors of diesel? That guy didn't understand what my question was or why I was interested. He was just like, well, one's dyed and the other one's clear. And I was just like, yeah, but like, why do you want one that's one way and one that's the other way? And apparently it has something to do with taxes. Or that dude's a libertarian and everything for that guy is somehow about taxes. I don't know. But if anyone's like a petroleum engineer out there in podcast Earsland, please shoot us a message. let us know why some diesel is one color and other diesel is another color.
Beth and I had to
Hoof it to the airport.
take a walk out to the airport.
That's the first time I've been out there. There's like, it's a long ways away and it's like full of planes.
Oh, yeah.
I am like, the people who live out here, how often do they go to Burning Man?
I don't know that anybody lives at the airport.
You don't think so?
No.
There's so many buildings out there.
Yeah, those are airport buildings.
Yeah, they do have like a whole airport thing they have to do up.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
that's
You'll notice there was a bunch of staff parking at that airport.
totally. How do they drive in and out? I guess when
Through that, along that road that we weren't allowed to drive on.
right, exactly, because when they're driving that road, there are no airplanes coming in or out.
Well, that's not the runway.
No, but why aren't you allowed to drive to the airport?
Because maybe they're allowed to
'Cause-
drive at speed there because they work all the fuck the way out at the airport.
Yeah, because they don't want people driving out to the airport. They got limited parking.
Gotcha. All right, makes sense. Solid.
Honestly, we probably could have driven out to the airport. We have staff stickers on that car.
Next time. You know the thing that
Sign wasn't for us.
I feel so dumb that I don't utilize more is the fucking radio. I can go over to the airport channel and say like, hey, howdy there. We're staff trying to come out to drop a ticket off at the thing to the transfer station. Is it possible we could drive out? Or do you need us to walk out? And they probably would have said, fine, yeah, please drive out.
For whatever reason, switching to another person's channel is scary.
It's terrifying.
It's like, I've been using the radio for 15 years now. I know radio protocol. But what if I go to this other person's channel and it turns out I'm a complete fucking idiot?
I just go to anyone else's channel assuming I'm a complete fucking idiot and being really nice, and it's always fine. Like, no one's upset at you for wanting things from them.
My first call on another person's channel is always just like, hey, I'm this guy with this camp. I bet someone here can help me. I need help.
My bike was stolen
How many times?
just the once. I brought my old commute bike out to Playa with me, which I like brought out with the hubris of like, oh, and I won't even care if it gets stolen because it's like falling apart. It's like I took it to the bike shop and they said we could replace literally every single part on here and strip it down to the frame, but you'd mostly be keeping it for sentimental reasons at this point because you can buy yourself a new bike for way cheaper than it would be to replace every single thing on this bike. And so I said, cool, I'm going to retire it to Playa. And I took it out and I was really nervous about it because I have terrible bike luck on Playa, and biking is always just for some reason a total pain in the ass for me on Playa, even though I'm a bike commuter, even though I love to bike. And I took it out and I was like, the tires aren't going to be big enough. And oh no, the bike shop can't help me because of the frame. And then I started getting on it and I was like, oh, right. This is like my second legs. I can do anything on this bike. It's so agile. I know exactly how it works. I can totally control it all. And only the deepest deepest dust dunes can I not get through on it if I can like get enough speed going. So I kind of fell in love with biking it out there. And then I left it in the bike rack in camp, and then it was gone. And Rex and I were going to go do a daytime art tour around and go visit the temple, and it wasn't there. And then I was sort of like, maybe it was probably someone from the camp who thought it was a camp bike and just borrowed it, and maybe they'll bring it back. And like, Ray let me borrow his electric bike, which was really fun. But I promised myself I wasn't going to spend time looking for it because I'm like, I can't ruin my time by like skulking around looking for a bike. But I went with Rex. There's a sort of ranger party at some point at Ranger HQ, which is the highest density of rangers I've ever been in. I feel very safe and slightly annoyed.
They give you a visual pat down?
I feel very supported and very observed. Rex was like, you should go over to Playa Info, even though they Lost and Found doesn't accept bikes. People sometimes just park abandoned bikes there. So we went over and I took a look and didn't see anything. But then there was BMIR and they were playing something. And I was like, maybe I can get a drink there because I can't at the Ranger party. And I walked.
There was scotch going around.
I don't want scotch. I want a drink. And I walked in and chatted with them for a little bit. And they're like, cold drink? And they're like, nah, I'm sorry, we don't have anything. I'm like, okay, cool. And I walked around the edge of the camp just to see what the next camp down was, to see if maybe the next camp would have some ice and something nice. And there was my bike, like half under a piece of fucking carpet laying on the side of BMIR.
Oof.
And I was just like, I saw it and I walked in and I'm like, does anyone know anything about this bike? And no one did, of course. And but it made my heart so fucking happy. I'm so happy to have it back. I'm going to decorate it, make it clear that it's mine. I'm going to lock it up. It was a Playa miracle. And I was so proud of myself for not letting myself be too bummed out about losing it, even though I was shockingly bummed out about losing it.
I somehow, between packing and unpacking on Playa, lost the keys to my U-lock.
Oh,
for my
Frank.
bike. They might be here in the house somewhere. I haven't seen them yet. So I was securing my bike with a key padlock and length of yellow chain. It is an absolute miracle that chain didn't get caught in my spokes at any point.
Oh, yeah.
It's a really loud chain, too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I thought for years that my Playa bike was loud and shitty. And then I got a new Playa bike, and I realized I've just had, like, a non-plastic coated chain and lock jangling around in my metal bike basket for years. And I probably could have kept my old bike.
Getting a new, very cheap e-bike was the thing this year.
Yeah, I hate to say I might have to do that.
Do we want to talk about the listener appreciation party?
Hey, listeners, thank you to the listeners who came to our listener appreciation party. You're all wonderful and incredibly interesting and attractive. And I understand I sound quite sarcastic right now, but nothing could be farther from the truth. I'm just awkward, but I'm your friend.
But he ain't lying. He was like rocking a semi all day long.
Oh my God.
After that listener party, he was so keyed up.
This was
This is one of those years that I didn't take a fucking nap after the listener appreciation party.
yeah.
I usually get pretty trashed at it by mistake.
I do as well, but I found the perfect solution to that involves other inebriants. But this year was the first year that I was like, oh, this feels really at home. I know most of these people. That's also like, it's great. The folks that keep coming back year after year, it feels really lovely to see you. Like there was only like, and all of the people who come record with us, it means so much to me to get to like see your face. Like, especially if you don't come here or even to see you again after recording with you in the studio. It's like, it's really lovely and I super appreciate it. So I guess this is the first year where I felt like I was getting to hang out with the cool people that I hadn't spent time with instead of the other way around.
I wasn't exhausted after 2 or 2.5 hours or 3 hours this year.
No.
It's always a lot longer that we hang out than like I can imagine it's been.
And Lamplighters were such incredible hosts. Thank you, Fender
For putting
Bender
us back
and
in the corner,
Punisher.
tucking us away in the corner.
Yeah, I really appreciated it. And thank you to our listeners who heard our silent and very vocal cry for mixers. You really brought this whole party together.
Thank you for my new Crown Royal bags. I promise I will bring at least one velveteen bag of animal teeth out to Playa next year so people can choose their spirit tooth.
Yeah. And you know what? Really, thank you. And with that said, hey.
Oh my God. Seriously?
If you have things that are illegal to transfer from one person to another, maybe don't use a middle person. Maybe don't make someone else
Take your address off it.
Maybe don't use other listeners to traffic drugs. Love you, listeners.
Guys, don't shame his name.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, and it was really lovely. There were a couple of you that were brand new that year. And I just also want to mention to people who are brand new, that's one of the things that really means a lot to me personally. I don't know what are the things that get you guys about the listener appreciation party, but the folks who like listened to us and then came out there and we were part of why they ended up out there. That's just,
I love it.
It's so good. It means the world to me to see you out there having an incredible time. I feel grateful that I get to be a part of that. And when you come and say hi, I get to know that I'm a part of that.
Yeah, one of the most gratifying things about being in this community is bringing people into this community. And if we get to do that like parasocially, then we're fucking awesome is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable with being awesome, but I do enjoy being a means by which people find their way to Burning Man. We all had someone who pointed us in the direction of Burning Man, and if we can help folks get there, it's a pretty cool place to get to.
What's great about parasocially recruiting virgins is we're almost never going to have to be the ones that spatula them.
Almost never.
Almost never.
Almost never.
And if it does happen, it's going to be like completely random. And we'll be like, oh shit, who's this rando? We got to spatula them. And they'll be like, Beth?
Eee.
I handled my business this year, but just barely. This is for the patrons only. Sorry, everyone who's not the patrons. I took what can only be referred to as an accidental.
Yeah.
And then you all went to bed. And it was like 5:30 in the morning. And DJ Slurm and I realized that we had promised to make Thanksgiving dinner for the entire camp the next day. And that's when I was like, hey,
No more
you know
Thanksgiving
how
dinners.
last year, like, you made a brisket, and the year before that, we made Kahlua pork, and it was just like a meal we cooked overnight, and we just had to make a bunch of 2 or 3 sides, and then that's mealtime, that's dinner for the day after we go out into deep playa all night and wander around until the early morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we made a full Thanksgiving dinner for like 119 people, say.
Let's say exactly 119
people.
And no, not 8, not up, a half a person more.
But that was, I have learned this year, only to swing so big culinarily. It is important to save yourself enough time to really enjoy your whole day and not wake up and cook for 8 or 9 or 10 hours and then sit down for 90 minutes and go to bed.
Especially, and like, don't take this the wrong way, but Thanksgiving dinner is kind of a suck menu.
Disagree.
That's a lot of it's not bad, but like if you say your choices are brisket, Kahlua pork, or some roast turkey. Roast turkeys last every single time.
We can make Thanksgiving shots in a microwave.
We can, and we ought to.
Yes.
Because
It's
the
better that
Thanksgiving
way.
shots are delicious. But we had deep fried turkeys, and we had smoked turkeys, and they were both brined for a day and a half ahead of time, and they were sublime.
I'm not saying you can't make turkey great. I'm just saying there's nothing you can do to a turkey, no matter how great it's going to be, where I'm going to be like, yeah, I'll take that turkey over a good brisket.
Sure.
And a good
But
brisket?
that turkey is a fifth
You walk
the
away
price
from.
of that brisket per pound.
Yeah.
We are serving food for 119 people for 7 days.
Only 119 people.
For 7 days. I've got to say, as easy as this year was in a couple different ways, for the most part, the weather was gorgeous. It was cold enough to wear warm clothes. It was warm enough to wear cold clothes. It rained a little bit. It winded a little bit. When it was quite hot, the wind still moved.
It was so freakishly cold and kind of dusty that I got a sunburn because it was cold and the sun wasn't in my eyes. So I wasn't like thinking about it.
Right.
And was just like walking around Playa from no shade to no shade, trying to find the pit.
It's those solar waves, man. They'll get you. One of the things that seemed especially difficult this year, at least for me, and I know you, Beth. It's what I'm thinking of as Commisery.
Commisery?
Yeah. Like how fucking miserable Commisery was this year.
Oh, God. I'm not the right person to even rate and review the commissary because I'm allergic to peppers, the vegetable, and I prefer to be vegetarian, although I'm not out there at all. And this year, it was just, I just wish they would have rice and beans and cheese like at every meal. If you could just rice and beans and cheese, and then anything else, it would be a delight. Anything else but rice and beans and cheese. Just like, give me a food. Give me a food, please.
I can make a basic meal plan and bring it out for you next year.
I ate this cheese stuff that was like a nacho cheese, and like they were out of whatever they were putting it on when I came through line. So I got like mini bags of Fritos, and I put the nacho cheese on it, but it wasn't like cheese. It became like viscous immediately and created a skin. And I was like halfway through it when my stomach was just like, and I was like, oh God, this is not good. Whatever this is
that sounded terrible.
Yeah, it was loud enough that people next to me could hear it in commissary. Like, it was just, and then I went and I pooped for like an hour, and it was like probably needed to happen. Like, it wasn't like harmful, but it was really unpleasant. And just rice and beans and cheese. Help.
We have a microwave set up pretty early in camp, Beth. I can make you little kits of rice and beans and cheese every day.
Yeah,
I'm good at creating little meals for a little person.
I'm thinking of leaning on our microwave and kettle more frequently during setup week. Like, I often skip meals in setup week, usually because I'm kind of working through them. Like, there's just a series of things I need to do, and by the time I'm done doing it, that meal is over. But some of them I just skip because I'm defeated. I'm so defeated.
It feels so much easier and more reliable to get the basic level of nutrients from a can of soup that I just drink than walking all the way to commissary to find out that, like, the lettuce there is wilted and slimy, and that, like, the salad bar itself isn't stocked enough, and there's no drinks left. And I know doing food service for a number of people that you're not sure who's going to show up is very difficult.
Yeah.
But I believe they're being paid a premium to be out there to feed the largely volunteer staff who are helping build the event. And it's really dispiriting to do all that work and then go to commissary looking forward to a hot meal and finding that out of 3 hot dishes, one of them is beans with stewed tomatoes in it, and the other 2 dishes are predominantly potatoes, one of which has ground beef in with the potatoes.
It's, like, I understand I don't understand. I can't comprehend the complexity of getting that much food out to that many people. I know in years past, it's felt more like I could eat. And, like, it's always a struggle for me. I have a fucking picky tummy and a fucking picky allergy and just, but yeah, this year it really got to the point where I was just like, if I just brought out instant food that I can make in the microwave or with some hot water, I would be better off most of the time.
There's some pretty cool, really tasty, like not incredibly salty Japanese rice and stuff bowls that you just have to add water to.
And I want them to be incredibly salty.
Some of them, yeah, but
my lean in this year was instant mashed potatoes. That I can eat instant mashed potatoes in a cup at basically any time. Here's some hot salt. Here you go. Calories and salt. You little baby tummy.
Put it down your fucking gullet.
Just eat it.
Yep. Eating is my nemesis out there.
My appetite shrunk so much that when I was leaving Playa, I stopped for my Taco Bell, which I am always like, I'm going to eat trash food. It's going to be Taco Bell on the way back. And I had one of 3 tacos and I was just like, I am so fucking full. I can't do. And it's like Taco Bell is instantly garbage the second it cools off. So you just got to throw those other 2 tacos away. I'm not going to be hungry in time for those not to be dog food.
I can't by any means eat cold Taco Bell. But I can eat room temperature Taco Bell for days.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it comes.
Unless there's liquid cheese in it, in which case it comes at room temperature with molten cheese in it.
Ooh.
We haven't really talked about it except in the specific in terms of the Peckening. But the unofficial theme of Burning Man this year, for one reason or another, was chickens.
Chickens.
Which I'm here for. As someone who has spent a little bit of time on Kauai, I do love being in a place that is overrun with chickens.
There were chickens everywhere. There were rubber chickens everywhere. There was a big giant rubber chicken. There were chicken art.
Is like
chicken
something
stamps.
going on TikTok with rubber chickens lately?
No, it's what is it called when everybody comes up with the idea at the same time?
All chickens.
It's in the zeitgeist.
But talking about chickens, I wanted to say, so I got this chickie I got from the artist who made the Peckening, because we ran into this human being out there fixing the squawk box because people go ham on the squawk box. And I told them how much the piece meant to me, and I was given a rubber chickie in the same colors as the Peckening. And it delights me so much. There was I was having this real low moment during Strike. Strike is hard, and I'm still figuring out how to do it and where to be useful and what am I doing. And at one point, I was just kind of overwhelmed and sad, and I was digging around for something, and I just found the cheeky, and I just stood in the middle of the box and just.
Did you have an emotional support chickie?
And then until I felt better, because it's just so silly. How can I be this overwhelmed by something this dumb? Just anytime I'm taking myself too seriously, I can just remind myself that no climby chickie.
No
climby chickie.
Climby breaky chickie.
No breaky chickie.
Art no afford to climb. Squawk only.
Squawk only.
Squawk only.
Squawk only. Thank you to all of our listeners. It is incredibly gratifying meeting you and continuing to do this project for you and the community. We had a fantastic Burning Man this year.
Fuck yes.
And we hope you did too.
Yeah.
If you would like to, please reach out to us on our social medias or at accuracythird@gmail.com and schedule a time to tell us your Burning Man stories, because we literally cannot do this project without you.
Tell us about your year. Was your theme chickens as well?
Did you make a piece of art that we loved or did not love? Please tell us about it. We're sorry for being callous. We don't know you.
Yeah. Did your camp fall apart? Was this year super easy? Was it terrible? Did you fall flat on your face? We want to hear about it. It's fucking fun. And it brings us closer together as a community, and it reminds folks that they belong out there when it might be hard to figure that out otherwise.
The music in this episode is hopefully by Late Bus, who is taking a sample of Beth screaming her fucking head off at Aztec Mayan Wonderland. What the fuck is the name of that?
Mayan Warrior.
Mayan Warrior.
Oh
God.
my God.
That fucking project and its wealth and shitty music.
Mayan Warrior Galaxio.
Oh,
Really?
God.
It's the new car.
Great.
Cool.
The music in this episode has been of Beth imploring Mayan Warrior to do something worthwhile with all that money they put in their sound system.
It sounds so good, but could you stop whispering at us, motherfuckers? Yeah.
If you have gone to Burning Man and come back without a playa name, please consider becoming one of our Patreon subscribers, wherein you, once donating $5 in total to us, are eligible for us to give you a playa name of your very own.
It worked for Late Bus.
It's worked for Stage Dive,
Cop Out.
Another person. It worked for DJ Slurm.
Yeah, let us give you a name. It's fun and slightly invasive.
And if you would like to support us for $1 per t-shirt, or you would just like some really fancy kind of authoritarian pliaware, why don't you head on over to burnernarc.com, burnernarc.com, the best store on the web, so that you can look like a total narc at your regional, I expect. That's it. We are on break.
Yay, break. during break, we're going to be interviewing people, storing up episodes. So please reach out to us. Hey, all of you people at the fucking listener appreciation party who still haven't come on the podcast, like, get over yourself. Come talk to us.
You're great. We like talking to you.
I might remember
for an hour or more.
Yeah, I might remember your name next year if you actually come and like let us interview you.
That was the minority. I think this was the first listener party where like most of the people there had been on the podcast.
A lot of people there
yeah.
had been
That's
on the
why
podcast.
it was comfortable. I liked it.
But you British dude from, Beth, the aquarium.
Oh, the
The
aquarium.
Black Rock Aquarium was amazing.
I didn't even tell you we ran into that British dude again.
Oh, you did tell me.
Oh, I did.
And we ran into him like 3 times. He's great. Hey, British dude, come on the podcast.
Sorry, I forgot your playa name.
It's been a long time.
But if you run into a tall, redhead British guy carrying around a gallon of like Kool-Aid High C,
The worst cocktail on Playa.
Yeah,
the worst cocktail on Playa, half High C, half
unsettling.
vodka. Oh, yeah. And did he have that with him at the temple while we were talking about deep grief and community? Yes, he did. He did.
Well, you're going to get thirsty. You're going to dehydrate when you cry.
We had such a beautiful conversation while he was sipping on that atrocity.
So I guess see you like after Christmas, right around New Year's.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see you in 25-ish.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you.
Season 8.
Ooh.
I know. Hey guys. So it's been a week since the last time we recorded our Afterburn episode. And in that amount of time, we have recalled a couple things that we think
Are
is
worth
important.
adding to the mix. Yeah.
Addendum.
Nice. So Beth,
Yes.
What are we addending?
Yeah. What are the wonderful things that we remembered?
well, you have something to share.
Oh, I do have something to share.
Beth, you look like you've got something to say. Do you?
So this year is the first year I've had the good graces of seeing a Cybertruck on Playa. We unfortunately see them all the time in San Francisco. Like, they're everywhere, and they're like embarrassing to look at. I really struggle with when I see them, and then I like both feel this great condemnation and this great pity for whoever thought that that was a thing to do.
I am embarrassed for them.
Yeah, that's it. It's like I'm embarrassed for you, but I also hate you.
Like, I assume you're probably not a white nationalist like Elon Musk is, but maybe you don't know about that, which means you're uninformed, and also you've spent $100,000 on a thing that is only the shape of a truck.
I'm embarrassed by the split second where my internal 12-year-old goes, tee-hee. And then my, fully adolescent and then adult and then middle-aged adult brains look at my internal adolescent and go, you idiot. That is a truck for a child made by a rich racist child.
Well, as someone without $100,000 to my name, I think it is stupid and opulent to spend $50,000 on a truck.
So I understand, as a proud Element owner, I understand that you can love vehicles for things other than their looks. Like, there's incredible things about a car that might look kind of dumb, and then you grow to love the look of that car. But Cybertrucks are also bad on top of being horrendously ugly. And
Bad at
childish.
everything they
Yes.
do. They're bad at being outdoors. They're bad at driving.
They're bad at being touched. They can't be washed in a car wash. They fall apart in puddles.
They're bad at not cutting your finger off with the frunk.
I have a $15,000 Frontier. I have a Nissan Frontier. It is a perfectly good truck. I would prefer it had 4-wheel drive, but I couldn't find one when I desperately needed a truck because my truck exploded on the Bay Bridge. And I have almost no complaints for my $15,000 truck. compared to Cybertrucks, which literally explode and can't get wet or operate as trucks.
My favorite thing about them, though, is so like that if they don't put a wrap on them, that surface that it is just shows handprints like crazy. Like you can see everywhere that anyone touched any of the doors at any time. And it's just on top of being really tacky is also dirty looking.
And also will brick if you take it through the car wash.
It has a getting wet mode, which isn't a thing you should need in your car, because what if wetness happens outside where your car is when you haven't set it to deal with that?
And if that wasn't enough, it can't hold a piece of lumber. It's a truck that you can't put furniture or construction things in.
And it's huge. It's so fucking big. And I saw one struggling to put 2 chairs in it, in the back of a fucking truck.
I have seen 2 Cybertrucks, both of which could barely contain the Christmas trees that were in the bed of those trucks.
That's just such a bad truck.
Like, it's like a Subaru Baja or a Subaru Brat. My dad used to have a Subaru Baja, and it was a pretty cool little car, but he used to refer to it as a truck, which it's not.
It's not.
A truck needs to be able to have a lumber rack on it, and it needs to be able to hold 1,000 or so pounds of lumber and concrete, or you're not trucking.
If I put the seats down in my 2015 Nissan Leaf, I have more carrying capacity in the hatchback than a Cybertruck does.
Yep.
That might be true.
And about the same.
And it won't leak the way the tonneau cover does. But the point is, we had very specific experiences on Playa with Cybertruck.
Yes,
Yeah.
Beth ran across an Incelcamino.
So I saw 2 out there. And like, I want to be clear when I say that I hate them when I see them, my heart lights up like I've seen a puppy, but it's full of like angst at the world that we have created. So I always notice when I see them. And I heard tell on, I think it was maybe Tuesday night or maybe Sunday night, we did a bar crawl. This is when we ended up at the aquarium.
Mm-hmm.
And we went around and chatted with people and checked stuff out. And while on this, we heard tell that you could see right on our pathway back to camp, there's a Cybertruck parked off of a particular street. So we walked by, and sure enough, there was that huge monstrosity in a custom wrap.
It had a wrap.
Yeah.
Was it like a
metallic
Cybertruck colored wrap?
Yes. So
Yeah, it wasn't
the outside
traditional-
doesn't rust in
Yeah.
the Playa.
I see.
So on the hood, someone had in dust written "cum slut," and I was like, "Oh, I can write something on the Cybertruck." And I'm dyslexic, so I asked our friend to spell it for me, because it's also like you're doing it big, because you want it to cover the entire windshield. And so I'm sitting there, and it's being spelled out to me, and this guy walks up behind us and is like, "Oh, hey, what you writing?" And I was like, "Douche canoe." And he was like, "Oh," and then walked away.
If you're a listener, Mr. Douche Canoe,
Spend your money more wisely.
yeah, we're not for you. Go listen to the Joe Rogan Experience.
We neither like fascists nor cars pretending to be cars that are safe cars or actual cars.
Or people
cars.
people who buy the car from the fascist that is explicitly
Like the
only
loudest
to demonstrate
fascist.
your support.
The most Howard Hughes motherfucker we have right now.
The second
and we
one-
have Donald Trump.
So the second Cybertruck I saw was like Sunday or Monday. It was coming away from the Ranger event after I found my bike.
The wrapped one.
The wrapped one that said something as awful as like, "be unique."
Yeah, but it looked like it was wrapped with what looked like brand logos. I think it was explicitly
On it,
modifying.
on it said "be unique." I looked.
No, I saw the Be Unique, but then I think on the back window it was like Be Unique by our tokens or whatever.
Nice.
Be Unique was a pitch.
That's very funny.
Wow. So it was cathartic to scream at that one. I just got a good scream on. It was really pleasurable for me. And I wanted to thank the folks who bring their Cybertrucks out there, because in normal day-to-day environment in San Francisco, I would say it would be uncouth for me to scream towards you how fucking dumb your car is. But when you bring it out to Playa, it really gives me a chance to just like roll around in it and not care about sharing my opinion with you.
That means that you saw 3 Cybertrucks, because you saw a Cybertruck with me.
What?
when we were on our way to dancing, once we had left the larger group.
Oh, you're totally right. We saw another one.
Another Cybertruck.
Motherfucker.
Which was also gray or silver wrapped to make it look like the way that you paid for it to look in the first place. And I believe there was spitting and peeing and writing on that one, although I don't remember any specifics. Nor was I the one peeing.
I wasn't me either, but it was a friend, and it was encouraged.
Are we sure this isn't the same as the
It was
canoe?
It was on the other side of Playa.
I mean, they are mutant vehicles more than any other production. Production car is usually not that angular.
Oh my God, you know it'd be such a great art car is if you got like a real car and put a big dumb Cybertruck on it.
Oh, that would be so
and it's
funny.
so easy because it's just shaped like a big dumb set of triangles.
Yeah, you could make the entire body out of cardboard.
Yes!
You know what would be really funny is to make a Surrey.
A what?
A Surrey. Just get like two matching bikes and mount them with crossbars, and then put a
Cybertruck over it?
Yeah, like made entirely out of like cardboard covered in Mylar safety blankets.
Just make it out of panel insulation.
And you can name it Elon Musk Dreams of Mars.
God, what a piece of art that was.
Did anyone else see Elon Musk Dreams of Mars?
I only saw it from a distance.
We had hoped that
it would be very funny. I was just like, oh, that's great. We were on such a good roll of really clever, funny pieces of art. And it was like fun. And then we walked in and it was like, oh no, this is just serious.
Yeah, it was 100% no Temple of Brad Pitt.
Oh, but what is?
Well, I think one thing is kind of Temple of Brad Pitt.
What's that?
And I think that is the prank that was played on Commisery this year, which was a hand sanitizer automatic dispenser mounted to a wall by the side entrance of Commisery that explicitly says that it is a hand sanitizer, not hand sanitizer mayonnaise, dispenser. And I found out about it from somebody telling me in a group of folks that there was it was very nice, like someone put up a hand sanitizer outside
the second entrance
of the second entrance to Commissary, so you could clean your hands before you go to or from the porta potties, before you wash your hands at the hand washing station to get into Commissary. And one of the people in the group with me was just like, "Oh, that's funny. Yeah, no, that's not hand sanitizer. That's sunscreen."
Ooh.
And like they were talking about how like when they leave Commissary, they cover themselves with some sunscreen and then they don't get burnt for the rest of the afternoon. But it turns out they're rubbing rancid mayonnaise into their skin at Burning Man, which, although quite unsanitary, is very, very funny.
Yes.
It's probably not rancid yet. Those dispensers are airtight. It's going to be rancid real fast.
I love that because it was gate. Because this second entrance was into gate. You are participating in gate if you are in this camp. And I really appreciate it. I was reaching out towards it and someone was like, no. And I was like, oh, what's in there? And they're like, mayonnaise. And I was like, oh, that's wonderful and disgusting. And I saw one guy do it and just sit there and go, huh. And then turn around and go wash his hands at the Commissary hand washing station, right? Yep. It's right there. You can turn around and just take care of that. But it was like the amount of defeat of just realizing that they thought they were going to put hand sanitizer on their hand and now they're holding mayo.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, I once went to a piece of performance art where I was obliged to stick my hands in some mayo. And I got to tell you, mayo dispenser outside of Commissary, much more impactful. That's a solid use of mayo on your hands.
Well,
You're
it's
totally
also
right.
warm enough so that it is less viscous and able to flow through the pump mechanism that is only intended for gelatinized alcohol. But there is a link in the show notes of the video of the absolutely amazing automatic mayonnaise dispenser. There it is.
Oh, good, because I don't think I saw it. I think I was there for the conversation that you had.
Mm-hmm.
And I just never,
Interacted.
I didn't register that was what that is. Now that I see it, it doesn't look unfamiliar.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, where else did they put it?
I don't know.
Because this is not the places that we saw it.
Looks like it may be at a deep Playa Porto, which would be pretty funny.
God,
Oh, God, that's amazing.
So mean.
If anyone knows any more about this prank infrastructure, please. Yes, Beth?
It's great. It captures someone's reaction to it says it on there. I do love that. That is solid Burning Man.
And that's the last of your solid Burning Man until the new season starts. So, bye.
Now that's a button.